lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast that prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the podcast where we talk about Marvel's number one lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Howell.
I'm your other host, Jacob Balcom.
We're here tonight to talk about Werewolf by Night number 5. This is the last issue, by the way, Jacob, that is a bi-monthly. After this, they switched to a monthly schedule.
Well, that's good. It needed a monthly schedule. It's good enough.
So does that mean it was selling a lot? Enough?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, it must have. Yeah, I'd love to go back and try to see what kind of sales figures were for that. I'm sure they're out there hiding somewhere online. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it was a success, and they needed more.
I would love to see those because you always see them for the flagship characters, right? You always see this Batman in 1972 was selling X compared to this, saying what a sorry state the industry is in. Always like a 10th or 20th or whatever they sold in their prime. But yeah, you never see smaller titles. I think that's interesting. Somebody dig that up for us. There's a no prize in it for you. And at the end of the show, we will have our new sign off, and we'll be announcing who the winner is. And it will be a surprise to us as well.
I'm very excited to hear it.
Me too. This issue sports a lovely cover that has the Beast in the foreground grappling with 3 silver-furred wolves handily. And in the background, there's these palm trees stretching out, and there's this hacienda, and there's these men with berets and automatic weapons coming after him and shooting at him. And it's very Panamanian looking. It looks like a drug cartel estate or something.
Right? Yeah, like the tone shifted a little bit in the setting for this.
Yeah, like it's kind of a Contra vibe. But I totally love the pencil work on the Beast and the wolves on him, and the inking that Plug did of himself is amazing.
It really is, and we'll get into the credits next page.
Yeah, for me, I think the indicator of how much I like the inks is going to be the fur detail. That seems to be my easy go-to spot for how much I like the inks. And the fur is sweet.
You're totally right. It is. The fur is a great gauge on, whether the inker gets Werewolf by Night or not.
Yep. And how much time they had.
Yeah, well, that's another factor for these early 70s Marvel books. Sometimes I think they were thrown together in not a whole lot of time.
Yeah. And as we've said several times, Mr. Plug had blown up pretty quickly since he started Marvel, so he was busy. So the fact that he inked his own pencils here and the pencils are so nice was a treat.
Yeah, I want to do more of a deep dive on his Grand Comics database, but it really seems like he did the majority of his work on the horror books. He didn't really do superheroes, and not really. I mean, not from what I've seen. I've looked pretty extensively at his bio.
I would like to get that art book that was put out about 10 years ago of his stuff, because I would like to see the breadth, and depth of his stuff, because I feel like maybe I just focused on his horror, but maybe you're right. Maybe that was the focus of his comics work.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, our opening page is a full page illustration of Jack in the rain in his human form. He's got some nice green pants, Hulk shredded. Great little illustration, kind of the Beast. Not really a fine illustration. It's real kind of vague, but still is kind of like clouds above him in the vague shape of the Beast's head.
Okay, now I see it.
Yeah, I know.
I was trying to see it. I was like, I know that's supposed to be the Beast abstractly in the clouds above him, and I could not make it work. I just finally. It's like those posters from the 90s.
It's a Magic Eye poster from Spencer's Gifts.
Okay, I see it now. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. I was excited.
It is. It's exciting when you see it. It's just like, oh my God, it's a car. So yeah, I guess the biggest difference in this issue, as opposed to all of our previous issues, is we have a new scripter. So Jerry Conway is out for the time being. He comes back when in like issue 14, I think, or something.
12 or
12, I
13,
think it is. Yeah, it's right around there. We'll find out. But yeah, so we welcome to Werewolf by Night, Len Wein. Who anyone who listens to this, you probably know who Len Wein is. He's kind of a fucking comics legend. Like I know him best, and I'm sure you do too. He co-created Swamp Thing with Bernie Wrightson and did that original amazing run. He also co-created Wolverine and Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, a lot of the 70s X-Men. He wrote a bunch of stories for my favorite DC horror titles like House of Secrets and House of Mystery, Weird War Tales, which I think is always kind of forgotten. And I love that book. That book is so strange.
It is weird. It's good.
It's great. And I was reminded that he was the editor on Watchmen.
Okay, I did not realize that.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, my favorite of his work is Swamp Thing with Bernie Wrightson. It's a fucking seminal Bronze Age horror title that I don't think either of us can say enough good things about, right?
Yeah. For me, this probably speaks a lot to when I got heavily into comics, but his Blue Beetle, which after Crisis on Infinite Earths, all the Charlton heroes got folded into the DC universe because they'd been bought, and they spun off some stuff. But the Blue Beetle was one of my favorite because he's bright, he's fun, he was very positive and just kind of whatever. So I really love that short, all too short, I think it was 24 issues Blue Beetle run that he wrote a large part of. But that's some of my favorite stuff of his.
Yeah, I need to go back and check that out. I've heard it was fun and kind of silly, but I missed that when it originally came out. So yeah, it might be fun to kind of go back and check it out.
Well, you can borrow my bound edition. That's how much I like it.
Yeah, obviously. As I've said many times before, I covet your bound editions.
It's Blue Beetle is a very happy, warm spot for me in 1986 comicdom.
So yeah, Len Wein's going to be the writer on Werewolf by Night through issue 8. So we'll be spending a bit of time with him. And we will absolutely judge him against the true master, Jerry Conway.
How many issues do we give him before we judge?
I think he gets
the hammer.
I think he gets 2.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to give him 2. I'm trying to save my final judgment till the end of the run, but I will say off the bat, his style is a bit of a change from what we're used to. Not necessarily in a bad way, just in a different way.
Okay.
But thank God we have Mike fucking Plug as the artist, and he is inking his own work. And as Matt said earlier, it is really great, this issue.
Yeah, I love when he inks himself, definitely.
We have a new colorist on this issue, Glynis Wein, who was super talented color artist, is probably known best for her work on Uncanny X-Men in a few years, but she's married to the author of this issue, Len Wein, and will be with us through issue 8 as well. And we got lettering by John Costanza and edited again by Rascally Roy Thomas. Which he didn't put down there, but I always like to call him Rascally Roy.
That's good.
It is. It's one of my favorite of his funny nickname superlatives. So anyhow, back to the issue. We have well, first off, this issue was published in May of 1973, and it's the second part of what we'll call the Kane saga. Or the Brothers Kane. That was the other one that I thought might be appropriate.
2-part saga is kind of hard to sell.
Yeah. So Jack Russell is outside of the Kane Manor, of Joshua Kane's manor that we saw in the beginning of last issue. And okay, so the narration says he's been running for the last hour from the abandoned movie set we saw last issue.
Right. So we had a question when we were talking to Brad Elmore on here. I was saying, so wait a minute, is that scene where the big finale was last issue, was that a movie set, or did Joshua Kane have a bunch of props from the Most Dangerous Game because he was obsessed with it and that was his house? But this clearly shows that was a movie set, and Jack has been limping through the dawn to Joshua's mansion, which we did see, but that was not where the climactic battle took place, correct?
No, because Joshua's mansion, his manor, is where Lissa is being held captive in her glass box embedded in the wall.
Comes standard.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jack's thinking, Kane's place just ahead. Gotta free Lissa and clear out of here before the police show and ask me questions I can't hope to answer.
And we would like to note that we also went back and forth, you and Brad and I, about whether the inconsistency of how Jack is wounded or not, depending on injuries he receives while in wolf form and transforming back. Definitely here it is carried across because he is hunched over in pain and clutching onto his shoulder that was shot by Joshua Kane, I believe.
Yeah, he was shot. Well, he was stabbed with the sword too, but
yeah, but that one didn't take.
Yeah, I guess not. No, that one healed up real nice. So let's just go with the gunshot.
Okay. Jack is approaching the Kane Manor, and he enters into a tack room, which I take to be like an outbuilding, like part of a stable, because tack is like what you call like horse gear, right?
I think so. Again, this is, Jack is a rich kid, and these are all rich kid settings with words that we lower class folk don't understand.
Yeah.
Tack room.
If you say 7-Eleven bottle room or storeroom, I know what that is.
Yeah, I absolutely know what that is. Yeah.
So yeah, I believe this is it looks like there's a lariat and some stuff like that hanging up in there. So it looks like it's some type of stable outbuilding for his horses. And we know that Joshua rode horses and he was a horse enthusiast.
Yes.
So Jack has found a first aid kit and he's stoked. So he's patching himself up and he's going through a mental dialogue or internal monologue, about how he got here. So we remember Joshua Kane. He's captured his sister Lissa and forced Jack through threat of violence to his sister to engage in a game of hide and seek where he is the hunter and he's hunting the werewolf as his most deadly prey because he is a jaded, bored hunter. So if you were here last issue, you know all this stuff.
Yeah. So then the flashback.
Oh, sorry. Can I make one comment?
Oh, yeah.
I did like when he mentally refers to him. He says, who would believe a machismo maniac named Joshua Kane? And I was thinking, machismo maniac, if this were an ASM, like Spider-Man he would actually be called machismo maniac. That would be a character. And you have to deal with him. And he'd have like plunging, super low, half unbuttoned shirt with like a zodiac medallions and big hairy chest. And he'd be like against down with feminism.
Yeah, he would. He absolutely would.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Machismo maniac.
No, it's great.
There have been worse names for Spider-Man characters.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, I was just going to say the flashback continues the next page showing how the Beast and Kane fought, only for Kane to die of a heart attack, which we confirmed. Because we were also kind of wondering a little bit at the end of last issue, being like, did the weird bear kill him? Did he have a heart attack? Like, that wasn't as clear to me, I think.
Or was he stuffed bear raped to death?
Yeah, I know. It was really, it was unclear. So I'm glad when you looked it up and shot me a text.
Yes, thank God for Marvel wikis. We know that Joshua Kane did die from a heart attack.
Yep. And so, yeah, Jack sneaks back into Kane's trophy room study and finds a kind of a shadowy figure sitting behind the desk. He's so this guy who we're going to find out is Luther Kane. He does so many amazing villain tropes.
Yeah.
Like he really does. Like here he's seated in this fancy chair, kind of in shadow. He has a glass of wine that he's rubbing his finger around the rim of.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. He kind of is amazing. We'll go over the tropes as they happen, but yeah. So he says, "Really, dear boy, must you be so destructive? That glass costs money,
So what's really funny about this page is when this whole time he's thinking, and as he's approaching the house and climbing in a window, he's thinking. And I thought to myself, wow, what great restraint from Len Wein to actually have a character think instead of talk out loud. Like Spider-Man just blabs while he's swinging around, talking about how his girlfriend just died and he's got to get to work and he never has any money and his sexy trio of roommates upstairs, all this shit. And I was like, it's nice of him to keep that all to himself. And then immediately he steps inside and says, good, the place looks exactly as it did when I left. Yeah. One of those spears should help me smash the glass of Lissa's cage. And I was like, what the? But then I was like, oh, because then Luthor gets to interject, as you shared with us.
Yeah, so I guess there's a reason behind that. But yeah, it is super Scooby-Doo goofy.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so on this next page, it is Luther Kane's time to shine. And we learn that this guy, he is Joshua Kane's brother, and they could not be more opposites. Joshua Kane was a big hulking machismo maniac, hunting big game hunter. This guy looks, how would you describe the way Luther Kane looks? So if we're casting him, you have to do Vincent Price, circa 1965 with a prosthetic nose.
Yes.
Like he looks like a villain in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or something. Like he's very cartoonishly evil. My other thought was he almost looks like if the Spanish Inquisition had porn stars, he would be the most famous one. Like he's got like a weird Caesar cut, a nose that is Pinocchio length, handlebar mustache, popped huge collar with like pink leopard print collar, a maroon smoking jacket, and a yellow ascot.
Oh my God. He looks so awesome.
Like he looks like if you took acid and watched when Vincent Price was on Scooby-Doo, that's what he would look like.
Yeah.
Frying on acid.
I think that's the casting. I think you nailed it.
So in my mind, he sounds like Peter O'Toole when I read his stuff, but not actually Peter O'Toole. He sounds like Peter O'Toole from that Mr. Show sketch, The House of the Future. Yeah. Remember when there's like the blind people, like all the celebrity voices to tell blind people where they are in their house?
Yep.
It's a television. Did you hear me? A TV. That's how all of his dialogue sounded to me. So he lets us know that he is Joshua's brother. And well, first of all, he says, I've been waiting here quite a while to meet you, Jack Russell. And Jack's like, what? How'd you know my name? And he reveals that Joshua kept a diary because we learned last episode, which I don't think we actually talked about. I think you and I afterwards said, Doe. Did we not talk about the fact that Joshua Kane was smart enough to put together that there's a werewolf around Hollywood and stalked him and tracked him down and somehow all off screen, off camera, whatever, figured out that Jack Russell was a werewolf. So that,
Yeah, we really screwed up because going back and looking at it, Joshua Kane went to great lengths to document and find and stalk Jack Russell. And we just totally, we were oblivious to it.
Well, we denigrated his memory is what we did. So we can't undo that now. Unless I go and delete the episode, but I'm not doing that because that was Brad, Michael, fucking Elmore on that episode.
That's right. No, we're not getting rid of it. So it'll be there to haunt us till the day we die. Won't be the last time.
Jack is pretty pissed off, so he grabs Luther and he says, give me that diary, because that's proof that he's a werewolf. And then we figure out there's another character in the room that we have not seen yet. And his name is Desmond, and he's a big slab of man meat. We've seen Jerry Conway's hunks of muscle. This is an altogether different deal.
Desmond he's a Dick Tracy villain. Like, I don't understand. I don't know where this comes from.
If his name weren't Desmond, I would say we need to call the Italian American Anti-Defamation League. But his name is Desmond. But, he talks the way you think he would talk. Like, he says, you'll do nothing, pal. Mr. Luther, he don't like nobody touching him. And he's playing with a switchblade on his gloved hands. He's got a huge pinstriped suit on. He looks like a big Mario, like Godfather Pizza commercial star casting hero. So he's just a big slab of kind of mafioso Dick Tracy weirdness. So Jack's not impressed by that. And he says, hey, I just want my sister and I want the book and I want to get out of here. And then Desmond says, hey, man, maybe you didn't hear me. My boss doesn't like anybody touching him. And he grabs Jack and holds the switchblade to his throat.
Yeah, he said, I said, nobody touches Mr. Luther. So again, when we've talked about this before, we have a bruiser. Again, this issue. But at least it's being mixed up. They have been pretty varied, you know. We've had a lot of different bruisers up to this point.
We have. But a bruiser is a bruiser, no matter how you know.
Yeah, it's true. I started to really like overthink it and be like, well, no, the bruiser has to be there because the main villain is most of the time quite frail. And so how would that fight end up? It would just end up being Jack killing the villain in like 45 seconds every issue.
Yeah, like Jack being a ripped 18-year-old could break this Vincent Price clone over his knee. So yeah, you got to have Desmond.
No, you do. And so, yeah, we find out from Luther that the cops have come and gone. And Luther is a bit of a scientist who specializes in blood disorders, including hereditary lycanthropy, which I did not realize was a blood disorder.
I almost majored in that.
Yeah. But not only does he specialize in it, he's discovered a cure for lycanthropy. He says not for Jack, because he says Jack's in the final stages of the disease, but for his younger sister, Lissa. And Jack is really excited about this. He's like, a cure? But he's not going to give this to Jack for free. He wants something in return. So we find out that he wants Jack to kill somebody. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed in the background, like Lissa's been unconscious still this whole time in her glass box in the background, which I really hope is ventilated.
Yeah, I doubt she'll have her bowels when she wakes up from wherever this was. I think there was some permanent damage done.
Yeah, it's super terrifying.
She's been doped up pretty good for 12 hours?
Yeah.
24?
At least 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
There's some really great art here. I particularly like that last panel when Luther's looking out the window, and that's when he reveals, I want you to kill someone. It's very dramatic, and you get this Dutch angle, and the rain will wash down the panels, and he's kind of this soft focus illustration. Super cool. And I love the big meat-headed Desmond in the foreground of one of the other panels who's just grinning like an Easter Island statue.
Yeah, he really does. Like I was almost like he's such a weird cipher. Like I couldn't figure out who he looks like. Like, did you have any, like when you first looked at him, what actor did you think of? Did you have a first thought? Because I didn't. He blew my mind this way. Like I could not identify him.
No, I have no idea who this guy would be.
It's weird. It's really, really strange.
Wow. Okay. So at this point in the story, you're stroking some of my special parts of my fur here because I love this kind of noir-ish setup. I mean, this is, I know you're a huge fan of noir as well. Like this thing already feels like a death trap. Like I've got this thing that you can't believe exists, but you really need it, but you don't get it unless you do this terrible thing for me, this unforgivable act. It's already got private detective stuff all over it. I love it.
Definitely. And I think that's something we can attribute to Len Wein because we didn't really have that flavor at all up until now.
No, not at all. I think that's very Weiny.
Yeah. And Len Wein, he isn't like, he isn't a, grizzled man in his 50s at this point. I think he's 25. So like, yeah, everyone involved in this, Conway's maybe 21 by now, probably still 20. Mike Plug's, maybe 24, I think. I don't. Yeah, it's so they're all still young men, which is nice.
They're all babies compared to us.
Yeah. Oh boy.
On the next page, Jack is reacting to this proposition and saying, I can't kill somebody. I can't do that for Lissa, And then he says, well, I don't want Jack Russell to kill this person. I want the Beast to do it. And so all I have to do is get you to where this person is at the right time of day and point you at them, and the Beast will do his thing. And Jack's looking at his sister through the glass and thinking, can I do that? Can I kill for Lissa? And then he kind of goes in this reverie where he's imagining Lissa turning 18 and going through a Plugian awesome transformation where her dress tears and her hair grows out all long and shaggy and she becomes a beast, a werebeast.
It's such a great panel. I would recommend putting that up on Instagram. It's definitely one of my favorite panels of the issue because it's just so cool. We don't get to, see Lissa transform, and it's Plug, so it's going to be an awesome transformation, which is, the thing I think we repeat every single episode because there hasn't been a bum transformation yet.
That could be our sign off.
Yeah. No bum transformations here. So next page, Jack agrees to the terms. He says, all right, Mr. Kane, you win. Who do you want me to kill? And this next panel made me laugh out loud because he is literally tenting his hands Mr. Burns style while monologuing. The only thing he's missing is like a snifter of brandy and a white cat. But he basically is going on to say, like, okay, his name is Judson Hemp, a billionaire recluse who runs his business empire from a carefully guarded splendor. Hemp's empire bankrupted me, destroyed my career. Now it's my turn to destroy him. It's so great. And we jump to.
I love that when he's talking, you can see Hemp's estate in the background. It's very Frank Lloyd Wright. It's all glass and brick and super. There's armed guards marching around.
And I'm not sure if this was intended, but to me it almost seems like the image of the compound is forming out of the smoke from his cigarette in the holder.
It is.
Okay,
it totally
good.
is. Yeah.
All right. And then he takes Jack to the compound of this man named Judson Hemp, which makes me laugh. And he's a billionaire recluse, which also makes me laugh. Yeah, so they basically just drop him here and say Hemp's Haven is virtually impregnable, Jack. The grounds are protected by armored guards, vicious dogs, even a constant motorcycle patrol. Which made me laugh for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand manor security well enough, but that doesn't seem very effective to me.
It's constant.
It is constant. You're right. Constant. So, but then you'd have to hear the engine of motorcycles 24 hours a day. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem.
Yeah, it's like living with a generator outside your house.
Yeah, I'm doing that thing where I overthink comics for 12-year-old boys from the 70s. And it never works out well. So yeah, they basically just dump him there and just be like, yeah, go do your thing. And Jack kind of looks forlorn in the last panel. He's saying, don't think I'm going to like it at all.
This is clearly somewhere around Jack's stomping grounds, but it looks like Central America. Like I was saying earlier, like a guerrilla warlord mansion in the middle of Central America. It's so freaking weird.
It is really weird. But you're right. It's suddenly like, it's like a jungle setting. It feels way different. The plants all seem very different.
Yeah, it just seems like a cheap, like Vietnam movie set or something. So on the next page, I have to admit, there's a transformation here at the top that I was a little unimpressed by.
Okay, you're right.
It's my first transformation that didn't blow me away. It's very sketchy. Like there's just like sketch lines showing, like shadowing in around the form of Jack, the contour as he changes. And it's not that impressive. The end result, the moon and the beast are good, but the transformation seemed a little sketchy to me.
I just thought, we'll get into that in our final judgments, but I felt like the art, while awesome, as it always is, was a little spotty in this issue. Almost from page to page. And maybe, that could be a thing where Plug didn't have an inker this month. He has a lot of shit to do. So maybe he just didn't get the time to do everything up to the standard. Because even in that page, we have the transformation, which, is really rough looking. And then we have one of the best yet illustrations of the beast and the moon. So, spotty, very spotty.
Yeah, I agree. And I didn't mention this, but a couple pages back, on the page that had him imagining Lissa changing, the two panels at the top where Desmond slaps his arm onto Jack's shoulder to stop him from approaching Luther, and then the other page where Jack is sitting in a chair and Luther's standing over him, there's no background. These are solid. There's a solid red background in the first panel and a solid green. There's no penciling. And it reminded me of just some really shoddy, like the Boris Karloff Presents kind of comic, like those Gold Key where it's just like it is just
Tales
the
of
main
mystery.
character.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
just nothing going on. Like it's just solid colors just because they couldn't be bothered. And maybe the red of him slapping his hand on Jack's wounded shoulder is supposed to indicate pain. Maybe the green is supposed to indicate pants. I don't know, but like, did you notice that at all? Like, to me, there's a couple panels where it's just like, wow, you didn't bother to pencil any background.
So we'll never know. So I'm just going to throw out my theory. I'd like to think that maybe in the middle of inking this issue, Plug got the word that they're going monthly. And then he's just like, oh, fuck, I'm doing this. I'm doing Frankenstein's monster. And yeah, he's got a lot on his plate. So I want to imagine this issue, you know, he has a new scripter. There's a lot of changes going on. So I want to attribute the stuff that is a little rough in this issue to a young man's panic.
That's fair enough. And Plug has definitely earned that leeway from me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So back to this page, though. Here's a little, you know, we've read some of the Conway copy that we really like. I really like this transformation copy here. My prayers went unanswered, of course. The moon rose as always, a great unblinking orb that filled the sky with frosted light, and my soul with utter darkness. And in that darkness, something was torn out of me, a howl of indignation at the celestial midwife who had birthed such a shaggy monstrosity. Len Wein. That is
so
intense
epic
stuff, man.
It's really good. It's really good. And then he brings the celestial midwife in, and it just takes it to the next level.
Yeah, no, that was the slam dunk where the backboard shattered for sure. So the rest of this page is basically the Beast approaching the compound, and he's going through the Beast brain and kind of remembering, you know, it's almost like Jack preloads information in for the Beast, like in his forebrain, like just like the short-term memory, and hoping that when the transformation happens, the Beast can pick up the pieces and follow the trail. And he usually kind of does. So he recognizes the building. He approaches. There's a bunch of beret, machine gun-ioed men standing around, and we get some of the Beast's thoughts. So we get to our first exposure to how Len Wein thinks that the Beast thinks. And he's looking at the men with guns and thinking, men who carry weapons will not let me enter their strange lair, but there are other ways. So kind of sophisticated. But the Beast also remembers Lissa. He remembers that he has to do something here urgently. And then he, in a very cool panel, jumps up and grabs onto the big stone, like stucco wall and leaps over. And the copy talks about how his claws sink into the cement or whatever and gain him purchase to jump over.
It's a very cool entrance into the compound. But then right as he gets to the other side, he whips his head around and says, what? More of my wolf brothers here? And so the attack dogs are rushing towards him. And yeah, they're dogs, but they do look very wolf-like.
I like that Len's kind of writing Jack a little tougher so far. And
definitely. Yeah, I mean, he fights these dogs off, just kind of is grabbing and whirling them around. And then he's found. So I thought it was interesting. After he fights the dogs, he kind of gets confused a little bit. He's like, men coming? Then let them. If they try to hurt me, I will kill. But then it looks like he's kind of not cowering, but hiding a little bit, like in the underbrush. And these two guards with guns like shine a flashlight at the Beast, telling him, okay, chum, don't move and keep those hands where I can see them.
And so this is a bit of a variation on the early everyone thinks it's a Halloween mask until it's too late thing, where they're just completely oblivious. There's a fur-covered shirtless man crouching in the bushes. They're like, yeah, that's it, chum. You're doing fine so far. Now, why don't you just step forward so we can get a good look at you? They have flashlights trained on him at this time, by the way. And then he just stands up and lashes out. And, you know, the guy goes, oh, my lord, a werewolf.
Yeah.
And the werewolf makes some, tears their shirts, getting all after him. And then he takes off running. And the guys are standing around thinking, we better find him. You know, we got to call Mr. Evans and let him know that this is going on.
So, yeah, we see that now this is kind of hanging from a windowsill above them. And we see who must be who we find out later is Evans, who's saying, "Personally, sir, I think we're wasting our time. The Prowler is long gone."
No, he's talking to Evans.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He's talking to Evans there. Okay. And then he is outside of the window, and that's where we see Evans. He says, "Well, check out the grounds once more. Anyways, Lewis, one can't be too safe if you know what I mean." And then we see our first glimpse of the reclusive billionaire Judson Hemp, who, yeah, again, what did you first think when you see this tiny white-haired man looking at a telescope?
I just groped for, like, who would I cast in this and how would I even describe this to somebody? So I'm going to let you deal with that. But up to this point, though, I did like that the Beast has clawed his way up the building and there's a guard standing 2 stories below him talking about him. And I love that old trope of, like, nobody ever looks up.
Yeah,
he's right there. That's rad.
So I think you brought up a good point. Like, a lot of these new characters that we're seeing, well, at least with Desmond and Judson Hemp, they're strange. Almost, again, I'm getting a little bit of Rights and Feels on these guys. They're strange looking, but they don't look familiar enough to where we can be like, oh, that's this actor, or that's this actor. So I don't know. So Plug has some kind of interesting choices, at least that he makes face wise.
Yeah, I mean, Judson Hemp looks like the Crypt Keeper or like some EC Graham Engels kind of draw. I mean, he's very wizened, little, strange, shrunken dude with like a shock of Albert Einstein hair, craggy ass face.
Yeah, you're right. I think Graham Engels, a Graham Engels villain or good guy, honestly, would look like that. So we're getting the first feel that, yeah, he's kind of, a bit of a doddering old man, not exactly much of a threat. He's looking through a telescope. He's talking to his assistant Evans. "I could use a little more light, though. Be a good boy, Evans, and open the skylight." And Evans is like, "Certainly, sir. Anything to please. I'll just..." Opens that skylight, and there is the Beast.
Growling,
looking really scary. His fur is looking great, by the way.
Yep. Perfect.
And jumps in, frightening Evans, who's saying, "No, stay back. Keep away."
Yeah, Evans seemed like he was some kind of a nod to somebody as well. I was like, is that supposed to be Bob Evans or something? Like, he seemed just oddly smug and weird and like, I don't know. He just seemed like he was a reference to somebody that I wasn't quite sure who it was, but I'm sure it's just.
So are we not getting these references because of like weird COVID brain? Like, do we have like strange quarantine brain damage to where I've lost my superpower of being able to assign an actor or actress to whoever I see in a comic book?
That's a great question.
Or should we just chalk it up to Plug being extremely varied in his facial illustrations? Could we say that?
Let's say that.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think that's. Yeah, let's say that.
That's way less depressing.
Yeah. So the Beast jumps onto Evans, and he's saying that the fear is so thick I could smell it. And he seems to be offended by fear, and he's like, it assails his flaring nostrils with the odor of unabsolved guilt. So there's some kind of whole subtext going on with Evans of just being a coward, right? And he jumps on him, and Evans is begging and pleading, I'm please don't kill me. I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. Sorry if I did anything to hurt you. And the Beast is on top of him, and he thinks this one has the courage of a jackal. He sleeps rather than face me. So he's passed out or fainted, or the Beast knocked him out. I think he hit his head. But I just like that the Beast is so disgusted by this guy's fear that he's just kind of revulsed.
Yeah, this is the first time I saw the Beast as a bit of a bully. I'm just like, oh shit, he's kind of an asshole in this issue a little bit.
They go to great lengths to explain that he's sleeping and that the Beast can hear the sound of his breathing. So Wein wants us to know he did not kill this poor, pathetic wretch. He's just sleeping. And then Judson Hemp chimes in and says, "You dreaded telescope, stand still." I'm going to miss the entire thing. Dreaded devices never work when you need them. And so he's futzing around with this telescope, and he's talking to the Beast, or Evans, he thinks. And so the Beast is just like, well, I don't know, and just starts wandering over towards him. The old man's wearing this robe, and he's got gross old man hands, probably got Howard Hughes fingernails.
So he does.
He's an odd duck. And you get the honor of talking about my favorite page of this issue.
Oh my God, it's an incredible page. It's so impressive. So the panel layout, at least of the top, the first panel takes up, over half the page. And the panel layout is pretty unique to me. Like, so it's the large top panel of the page. Is of the Beast. This amazing illustration of the Beast. Mouth open, eyes red, with 3 smaller inset panels of Judson Hemp looking very Wrightson, very Angles, totally wizened. So cool. And I love that the middle panel of Judson Hemp is within the jaws of the Beast, which is so cool.
Yeah, and he's also doing that thing where, again, I always struggle for what to call this, but when the subject of the panel goes beyond the constraints of the panel, so it's kind of a 3D element where the old man's popping out of the panel, so his head is kind of centered like between the Beast's teeth, but the whole panel is being held in his mouth. Like, it's just this amazing graphic design. I always feel like I make so many Mr. Show references, like when Bob Odenkirk's trying to describe Calvin and Hobbes to the blind David Cross.
It's kind of weird.
There's flames. He's in hell, and the flames are funny, but they're kind of scary. God, I wish you could see it.
Yeah. No, you're not
like
alone with that. I get Mr. Show vibes so often when I read these, and I'm sure it's just our own brain wiring. But yeah it's But no, this page is by far the best page of the entire issue. So Hemp is obviously not all there, because he mistakes the Beast for a dog, saying, "Here, doggy, let Uncle Judson pet you." And the Beast then realizes that this man is no threat, no enemy. And so before he can decide what to do, he crumples over in pain. The Beast crumples over in pain as a shadow starts to cover the moon. And here is where we get our first kind of interesting plot device that we have not seen yet.
Yeah. And due to the way that astronomy works, it probably can't happen too much, but
No.
What has happened is that the old man is waiting to view this lunar eclipse. So the moon is being blocked out by the sun's shadow. And so Jack has turned back into his human form. And he's completely confused. How did this happen? It's still the middle of the night. And then Justin's leaning over him. Wait, you're not a doggy. You're a man. Well, you're too late, son. You've missed all the fun. There was an eclipse of the moon tonight, there was. And the doctor said if I was good, he'd let me stay up late and watch it. So maybe Evans was a doctor? Is he like Eugene Landy?
Yeah.
Brian, if you write 2 songs, I'll give you a cheeseburger.
He's going to ask for half of all the songwriting credits.
So Jack's thinking, well, this lunar eclipse here just prevented me from probably murdering this doddering, senile old man. And at that moment, a guard comes in because he's, the entire compound's been plunged into darkness. And so he's making sure that Judson is okay. And he says, hey, there's been a prowler around. We're just making sure everything's okay. And then Jack's hiding. He's like, God, I just hope that he doesn't walk over to where Evan's unconscious body is. And then what does he do? Immediately trips over it. Hey, what's this? What's going on here? And then Jack, in a very incisive moment, comes out punching and just punches the guard as hard as he can in the face, which makes sense. The guy's got a machine gun.
Yeah. And this is Jack definitely does some action hero moves in this issue, which my favorite one is the next page.
Oh, yeah.
So Jack takes off. He's trying to find the best way to get off the compound. So this motorcycle drives towards him, and Jack leaps out from a wall, punches the guard off the bike, jumps on the bike, and speeds off while bullets are flying at him.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's got his back, he's pressed up against a wall as a motorcyclist is coming straight past where he's hiding. He's got his fist clenched up just waiting, and he swings out and punches the guy in the stomach as hard as he can. It's like worse than a clothesline basically at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, then there's just, pa-choo, 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 bullets coming after him as he's riding away on a bike. This is not your Conway's Jack Russell right now.
No, not
For
at
sure.
all. And so, yeah, he flies off on the motorcycle. As bullets are flying past him.
So he's gunning it, and I got some major Great Escape vibes from here. Did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's this heavily guarded compound. He's on a motorcycle trying to get away. He's thinking about getting back to Lissa and getting her out before Luther knows that the deal is off, and he kills Lissa. So, and he uses a term of a figure of speech I've never heard before. He says, even if it means riding through hell in a hay wagon. I've never heard that expression.
No, I thought that all of Jack's thoughts on that top panel were a little clunky and a little flowery at the same time. He's just like, some outrageous whim of fate has given me the chance to salvage something from this mess. It's just kind of strange, but yeah, you're right. Riding through hell in a hay wagon. Nope. I don't think a human being has said that before.
So as he's doing this, he is gunning it towards the edge of the compound and a flight of stairs. And I think everybody knows where this is going. He barrels up the stairs while dudes are standing there with machine guns going butta, 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 butta at him. He jumps over their heads. He knocks a dude out through a railway into the jungle beyond, the LA jungle. And he thinks, don't worry, Bright Eyes. The bushes below will break your fall. That was is this just Stan Lee, or is that? I feel like Bright Eyes is a very Stan Lee stupid Avengers, like, I don't know. High Pockets, calling Giant Man High Pockets and calling anyone Bright Eyes was like a really corny Stan Lee 60s thing.
Yeah, I expect to hear Milksop next. Yeah.
So Jack's barreling away a la Steve fucking McQueen, thinking, but if Luther Kane has done anything to harm my sister, nothing will stop me from breaking his scrawny neck. So Jack has grown a pair here, and being fully human is ready, willing, and able to break that dude's neck if he's hurt his sister. Kind of liking this Len Wein Jack, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's definitely tougher. He's grown up a lot, and he doesn't seem like kind of a naive 18-year-old kid anymore. Well, he's seen some shit. The last few issues, he hasn't had a break. Remember, like how in the first issue or in the Marvel Premiere stuff, like months pass, between his adventures, and he's had like the last 3 nights have been not great for him.
Oh my God, we did not talk about something that I need to talk about. So when he gets to the compound and he turns into the beast, it says third night.
I know. I tried to ignore it, but
okay, because the last issue started with third night.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that we're keeping track, because I keep track of that stuff. I have very little in my life to keep me busy.
Yeah, I kind of wanted. I was waiting for you to say something because I noticed that, but then I'm like, oh no, I must be confused. But no, you're right. Third night was in the title page of last issue.
And I know it's a new writer jumping on the book and all, but if that's a device you're going to use, I think the least you can do is read literally the previous issue of the title you're taking over and figure out where you are in the storyline. But then you couldn't tell the story, literally. I mean, you couldn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless and the device of like capturing Jack and holding him prisoner for a month would be a really lame, tired thing to do.
Yeah, that's true. They're just kind of hoping that their readers aren't paying super attention. They're really hoping that 2 middle-aged men 40 years later aren't picking this apart.
Yeah, they're really banking on like 14-year-olds smoking Acapulco Gold.
Yeah, and then just throwing it away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know.
With it.
So now we're back at Castle Kane, and we see Luther is lounging back in his chair, kind of relishing his own victory, very much in a supervillain way. This guy's awesome. And
I feel like we don't need to tell the listener, but if you don't know, he uses those really long cigarette filters. Like I feel like that's a given.
Yeah, it is. Oh, he's going to have a really long cigarette holder.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's basically like, by now, our dear reluctant Jack has dealt with Judson Hemp in his own unique manner. I like his manservant Desmond asks, what about Russell himself, Mr. Luther? Do you want I should take care of him? And again, he's using a switchblade to pick at his fingernails in a very bodyguard type of way. And Luther says, no need. I'm sure the guards killed the beast. Then, of course, our hero Jack flings open the doors and says, don't be too confident, Mr. Kane. So, yeah, Jack wants that cure for his sister. But Kane, realizing he didn't kill Judson Hemp, kind of refuses. Jack jumps up, gets him in a headlock, saying, turn over that cure or else.
I was, at this point, waiting for Luther to say, there's no cure, you idiot. I made that up. Like, it felt like one of those, I kept trying to think that it's like there's some Simpsons reference I kept thinking of, like Homer's like, now where's that? Like whatever thing they used to lure him in somewhere, and he has no idea that after the jig is up that doesn't actually exist. It felt like that.
They get him to come into a room by saying that there was a pie. Then they tell him some horrible news, and then he's like, oh, so where's that pie?
I felt like the cure was that. Like Jack's like the slowest dude in the film noir, where it's like, oh man, really?
He's the last guy to realize he's been hustled.
Yeah. So he's got Luther. He's holding him from behind, got his arm wrapped around his neck. Desmond's rolling up his sleeves, revealing a big hairy forearm. He says, you're thick, Russell, real thick. If I told you once, I told you a million times. Keep your mitts off Mr. Luther. And he just punches Jack hard, wallops him, knocks him down on the ground. And then Luther says, I believe that's sufficient, Desmond. Young Jack will remember to behave himself in the future now. Won't you, dear boy? And then Jack, he's not having any of that, rubs his sore chin, jumps up and slams into Desmond because he's a hot-headed 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, and he's a tough son of a bitch, this issue, for sure. So Desmond has Jack. He's crushing him in his arms. And there's some kind of cool Kirby crackle a little bit, which we should actually figure out. We should figure out the Plug equivalent to Kirby crackle. We need to come up with a cool name for that. Maybe a listener can do that. But so basically what's
Plug
happening.
Plasma.
Plug plasma. That's great, because we talked about before how they were like blood cells.
Yeah.
You know what? You get the shirt. You get the T-shirt.
Yes.
You win. So yeah, the lunar eclipse has conveniently ended, and the beast comes out as he is being throttled by Desmond. So Desmond lets him go. Says, "No, you tricked me. I'll kill you for that." Draws out his knife, flinging it towards the beast. It misses, and the beast thinks, "Man hates me, tries to kill me, but I will not let him." Then he slams Desmond onto this huge desk, breaking his spine in this pretty gruesome panel, really. Like, he's breaking him over this desk. There's a loud crack that we see down at the bottom of the panel. It's kind of brutal.
Yeah, who needs Bane and Batman?
Yeah, no, it definitely had that feel to it. And so, yeah, Desmond is straight up paralyzed now. And, King.
Jack's had two paralysis, right? Black Car, and then this dude.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Black Car. He's going to wait till Desmond's in a wheelchair, then push him out a fucking window.
Yeah, I think he's hoping for some kind of wheelchair company endorsement or something.
Wheelchair and Glass, Inc. So, yeah, we see Kane's in the background, kind of casually lighting a cigarette, and he's saying, "Turnabout is fair play, dear boy. I'm afraid you've broken his back."
Such a good employer.
Yeah.
I love this sequence of this last page. He's monologuing as he's smoking on his freshly lit cigarette. Desmond has been my companion for a good many years, dear boy. I'm going to miss him. And then he starts kind of reaching for his midsection. It appears I made an error in judgment by involving you in my affairs. And he's slowly just sinking down, and he realized, oh my God, the switchblade went into his guts. And then he falls down the ground. You were really more of a bother than you were worth.
Oh, he keeps it classy till the end. He's like he's fucking Gus Fring adjusting his tie.
And so the beast is done here. The heavy odor of death filled the werewolf's nostrils. Then a more subtle scent caught my attention, the smell of a powerful gas. And he remembers Lissa. So he grabs a chair or something, smashes the glass, and he stands around for a minute, making sure that Lissa starts to stir as the gas is dissipating. And he sees that she's going to be okay. And then he lopes off into the woods. It's kind of interesting stuff here at the end. He's thinking, first of all, he's looking at her thinking, now she is free to run, to hunt in the forest. Yes, this one would like the forest. She is much like me. So he sees something of himself, of the beast, in Lissa. So maybe the marked, the cursed can see each other. I don't know. See that in each other. And he says, for several minutes, I crouched by the shattered case as the gas dissipated, and Lissa slowly began to revive. Then I turned and loped from the house to find the forest. And there's an odd little there's a great panel here, a close-up of the beast looking out. I got the camera. Beautiful ink work on all the fur. Do you want her to become as you are? The words ran with me as I patted through the brush. She is much like me, the beast replied. And, trapped in some dark corner of the werewolf's soul, Jack Russell wanted to cry. Pretty heavy ending there.
It's a really heavy ending.
So there's some pretty big foreshadowing for maybe what's in Lissa's future as a Russell or Russoff. Right. Yeah.
And well, we'll just wait. We'll wait for the I keep wanting to ask more questions, being like, well, so is the whole thing going to happen with her when she's 18? But we're going to find out later on in the run, I'm sure.
Yeah, you need to smash that subscribe button, Jacob.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So yeah, what'd you think of our new scribe? What'd you think of Len Wein taking on Werewolf by Night?
Personally, I really liked it. I enjoyed all of the goofy aspects. I was ready for a little bit of a shakeup. We kind of made some jokes in the last episode or two about, big, bald, hulking guys being the muscle. And I don't know. I felt it was a good change up. The characters were a little goofy, but I'm not opposed to goofies. So as much as I could hang with Saturday morning Satanism and magicians and the Darkhold being like a Scooby-Doo thing or whatever, I thought this was kind of an interesting change up. So I liked it.
Agreed. I did too. It's definitely a different voice, though. A little more hard-boiled than Jerry Conway is, for sure.
Yeah, and I like hard-boiled. Like, I'm a sucker for anything pulpy or hard-boiled. That's speaking my language, so I'm going to be a little softer on that than I would be any other bent that a writer had and came in. Like, if somebody decided this is going to be a romance book, kind of a twist or a whatever, I'd be less inclined to be into it. But like hard-boiled, pulpy surrealism is totally up my alley.
Agreed. I really liked it. I thought it was nice, especially going through this issue to issue. It was almost like they realized we needed a little change up. We needed a different voice at this point. And yeah, it was jarring at first for me, I'll admit, just because we had gotten so used to Conway and his prose. But agreed. I think it's a welcome change for now.
I also feel like Wein's commitment to making this an action-oriented story served it well. I don't think that Conway's stories didn't work as well. They were kind of more caught up in the intrigue and the mood a little bit more and kind of following through some natural pacing, whereas this felt like he was trying to inject. I mean, there's pretty much a scene from The Great Escape in there. And there's, he was definitely going for some hard-boiled pulp hero action, and I dug that.
Yeah, I mean, there's straight up like action movie sequences in this. So yeah, a definite shakeup, but definite welcome change of pace.
Are you ready for a Weremail by Night?
I always am.
I chose one of 3 short letters. Dear everyone, as a lycanthropy buff, I'm very glad to see a mag come out about my favorite people, or should I say animal. Werewolf by Night is a heaven sent. I have studied lycanthropy, witchcraft, vampirism, and voodoo in an offbeat way the last 4 years, and I have to say that your mag couldn't be better. The action is great, and the artwork on the werewolf is beautifully done. In fact, I used the splash page of one issue as a subject for an oil painting, which my friends thought was cool. To Plug, I give credit for the wonderful subject. Although you had the traditional poem in your first mag, did you know there was an incantation for turning into a werewolf? But I can't say more, because the full moon is rising, and I have to start my chant. Spirits of the deep who never sleep, be kind to me. Spirits of the grave without a soul to save, be kind to me. Signed, Connie England, in Michigan City, Indiana. Thanks for the growls of praise, Connie, and we gotta admit, we didn't know about that incantation. Until you wrote, we'd been using "Dinner's on, come and get it," which didn't turn us into werewolves, but did successfully summon Irving Forbush, who always succeeds in scaring us half to death, which is almost as good, right? Oh, those subordinate clauses.
Oh, man.
So bad.
Yeah, I mean, again, I kind of want confirmation that this is Roy Thomas.
You gonna start writing hate mail?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't quite fit his voice. I mean, he's a cornball, but I don't know if he's this level of cornball.
Yeah, I think this sounds to me like an intern.
This really does, right?
Who went and got a slice of pizza and then came back and smoked a doob and answered these letters because he had to.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, I got to stick Irving Forbush in there so they think
I'm paying attention and I care.
Because Stan and Roy, they care about that old timey shit. So let's put some of that in there.
Right.
Yeah, that's not great. But still, yeah, that's an interesting letter.
Yeah, I mean, the other ones were about, art and whether or not, I don't know, stuff we've done before. So I wanted to switch it up and do something a little bit different.
No, I love it. I love the mail.
That she's a werewolf.
That's cool. Good for you, Connie. I hope that worked out.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of business as far as we've had a contest going on, Jacob.
I know.
And we've been having submissions from folks to tell us what they think our sign-off should be. And we said when we got to the episode for issue number 5, we were going to sign off with it. So kind of a funny story. So what happened was we got it kind of Jacob had a couple he wanted to throw in the ring for voting, and I had one I threw in there. And so we had it narrowed down to 3 people. And those were James Edwards Clark and Ben McClure and Rob Haferman. And what happened was when we were reading the letters page last issue, we believe Roy Thomas signed off with something that was actually the exact type of thing I've been looking for since we started the show. So we did an 11th hour. I did, and I'll leave Jacob out of this. If you send me your hate mail, I did an 11th hour decision that I think the Roy Thomas sign off from the Werewolf by Night column should be the sign off. But I want to acknowledge that the finalists in the contest did good work, and so they are going to be chosen by a random 6-sided die tonight. Which one of you gets the shirt? So James Edwards Clark, you are 1 or 2. Ben McClure, you are 3 or 4. And Rob Haferman, you are 5 or 6. I'm going to roll this die here. I'm not going to film it or anything. I think you all are going to trust me, right? No gaming commissioner going to be here or anything. So yes, whoever gets this, I will contact you and have you pick out which shirt you want and send it to you. Here we go. You ready, Jacob?
Ready. You're rolling.
All right. I'm rolling. 6. That's Rob Haferman.
All
so
right.
Rob, you have won a Werewolf by Night t-shirt. I will be in contact with you to have you pick your design. And thank you for your submissions. And I appreciate everybody being patient with us while we chose this. And I appreciate everyone being cool with the fact that I'm assuming you're cool with the fact that I did an 11th hour switch up, because that's how I am. Keep on your toes.
Rob, we're going to send your shirt to Roy Thomas.
No, Roy gets negative noogies for his corn dog responses because he started off in the hole, I think.
Yeah. So now you just have me thinking on who this intern is who's writing like terrible stuff. I want it to be a really good writer that just hadn't found his voice yet. Like it's Lil Christopher Claremont, the intern, working the letters page at Werewolf by Night. You mean
Chrissy?
Oh, Lil Chrissy? Oh yeah, we've seen him around the bullpen, right?
He's a good kid. Yeah, so I think that's our business. I watched a werewolf movie this week. Did you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I watched a movie too. Why don't you go first?
So I checked out this psychotronic movie that has been on my radar for 25 years that I've never gotten around to watching. And this was a perfect excuse to do it because we've been doing this multimedia werewolf thing. So I watched a film from 1971 called Werewolves on Wheels. And it was directed by Michel, M-I-C-H-E-L, Michel Levesque. And it stars Stephen Oliver, DJ Anderson, and Deuce Berry. It is a biker exploitation flick, but since it's set in 1971, there has to be Satanism in it. Do we ever get to the bottom of why this is? Is this an Anton LaVey? This is too late for that. Why is it Charlie Manson? Like what made everybody so into the occult in the late 60s, early 70s?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a combination of people becoming aware of the Church of Satan and Anton LaVey. It's probably, a little bit of the Manson family. Let's throw in the Process Church.
Okay.
Because they were kind of, talked about in that book, The Family, as being kind of, Manson family adjacent. And yeah, the Process were actually strange. Like, Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan, we realize were kind of silly. Like not all the giant boogeyman that they've been made out to be, but the Process Church was a little weird.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw those three into the ring as what made the first kind of satanic panic of the 70s happen.
What was, in your opinion, 60s is kind of my favorite decade, so I feel like I should know this, but like, was hippiedom opening to kind of a Wiccan pagan-y thing, what just kind of opened the doors to all this stuff, and Square America just assumed Satan was around every corner and everybody who had long hair was communing with demons and at every bonfire.
I'd love to figure out when that change actually happened and what brought it about. I mean, we had Rosemary's Baby as well that had kind of, brought Satanism
more. Which is 69, 70, 69?
It's 69, I think. 69 or 68. But yeah, it's so all this stuff has been bubbling up. But you're right. I want to know what made Edith and Archie Bunker start to be afraid of Satanists.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it has to do with just acid and the Earth Children thing just kind of becoming the natural, obvious, obviously, if you're an Earth child, you're communing with devils. At any rate, this is a small little indie film, and it follows a group of bikers in California called the Devil's Advocates. And if you're familiar at all with the genre of biker exploitation, these are all pretty low budget. It's usually majority not scripted. Bikers going around talking biker talk, shotgunning beers, passing joints around, stopping in a little gas station in the middle of nowhere in the desert and hassling a little old man who's pumping their gas or selling them 6 packs of beer, showing that they're tough. And this is all in that. But there's a supernatural element imposed on this, which is really cool. One of the members of the gang they'll have names like Films, Pill. This guy I'm talking about is Tarot, and he is a spooky occultist guy who has tarot cards. And so he does a reading of the female of the main biker in the beginning of the film, and her reading is not good. And it shows that she's going to meet a grim end soon, and that she's going to be struck by lightning in a tower, which seemed oddly specific for a tarot card. But they run across, there's these cool custom cards that are painted, obviously, for the film. And so they do this cool superimposition graphic match where the card where the lightning is the next shot is the actual tower. And it's this monastery that they come across with these really weird monks that just approach them and bring them these big rounds of bread and these big jugs of wine that is clearly not wine. And they just kind of encircle them and feed them. And it's clearly blood, and it's clearly the satanic thing. And all the bikers are doped and they fall asleep, and they bring the main biker's chick into the monastery, and she's naked and she has a snake around her. They're doing this elaborate Latin chanting thing, and she becomes cursed with lycanthropy. And so from this moment on, each night the guys stop and build a bonfire and do their dipshit biker thing. She changes into a werewolf and kills one of them. So it's like 10 little Indians kind of thing that goes on, and people are getting taken out, and some people turn also into werewolves in addition to her. And it's a strange little flick that I actually liked a lot more than I thought I would.
It sounds really cool. I want to check it out now.
And the ending is typically early 70s, like what you would expect for a biker flick ending. Yeah. Werewolves on Wheels, I actually enjoyed it. I've been wanting to go back and watch a bunch of these corn dog ones that I've kind of always avoided. Like, what's the other one? There's like Werewolf of Woodstock, I think is a TV movie. And there's Werewolves. There's one with Dean Stockwell where he plays like and a political aide, and he is like at an embassy in Hungary and gets bitten by a werewolf and comes back. So it's like Werewolves of Washington D.C. or something like that is the name of it.
I love Dean Stockwell. I would love to see that.
And that one's a comedy, so it's supposed to be funny.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of this early 70s kind of weird, almost comedy movies that are making fun of werewolves almost. But that's one of them. So you can watch that on Prime for free. And I think it's worth checking out, actually, if you have a little bit of beer and some popcorn.
That sounds great. I'm gonna check that out, maybe even tonight. So the one that I watched Curse of the Werewolf, the Hammer film from 1961.
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed, yeah, and his first starring role.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is his first starring role.
As Leon the werewolf, which I want to just start.
That was his name.
His name's Leon, and I want to start making a list of all the strange causes for the transformation or for someone to become a werewolf. Because I watched this one, and I'm pretty sure that Oliver Reed, his character got lycanthropy from being born on Christmas Day.
I thought there was. Is this the one that's based on the book by Guy Endor? There's one where like they whitewashed it, but like in the story, the mother was raped on
No, that's what this one is.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his mother was raped and escaped into the forest and was taken in by this baron or burgomeister and gave birth to this child on Christmas Day. And they're like, oh, you were born on Christmas Day. You know what that means? It means you're a werewolf.
Okay.
I was like, really? Is that what that means?
I'm remembering this now. Yeah, I remember thinking that was odd as well.
Yeah, it was really weird. I thought it was okay. So 1961, where is that in the Hammer chronology? That's pretty early, right?
I believe the Hammer horror cycle started with Curse of Frankenstein in 1957.
Okay.
I want to say. And then Horror of Dracula in 58. I think they took a brief break maybe, or came back immediately and did sequels to both of those. And then the Werewolf started. So it's kind of early. They might have done the Phantom of the Opera at that point, but
okay.
Maybe Christopher Lee as a mummy. It's still
early-ish.
In the good years.
Yeah. No, I thought it was okay. I didn't love it.
I didn't either.
I like Oliver Reed. I think he's great, and he's kind of this, like in real life, he was kind of this over the top, larger than life character who kind of seemed like a drunken nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was Keith Moon's drinking buddy. He has the most entertaining like Wikipedia page you'll ever read. He just was, kind of a
zoo,
a raconteur.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's funny. I was trying to think of what I know him from. I know his last role was in Gladiator, but I knew him mostly from Baron Munchausen.
Oh wow,
he's the god Vulcan. But I honestly couldn't think of what else I really knew him from.
So considering how little I remember of Curse of the Werewolf outside of what you would see in a publicity still of the creature, I would say forego that and watch him star in Ken Russell's The Devils from 1971. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't, but I love Ken Russell.
Well, you're not Catholic, are you?
No.
Okay, then you will really like it. It is a very transgressive, strange, cool. It's Ken Russell. So, I saw that at the Hollywood Theater a couple years ago for the first time and was blown away by it. Watch The Devils.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I didn't know if you were going to be offended or not. I didn't know if you really liked Curse of the Werewolf, but I did not like it at all.
No, I watched it once and I've had zero interest in going back and watching it again and don't remember much about it. So
Well, you don't even really see him as a werewolf until the very end, and he just looks like kind of a goofy dog that would be like a animatronic person at Chuck E. Cheese.
yeah.
Like it was a bit of a letdown.
Well,
Sorry.
I imagine that the critics probably agree with you because they didn't do any sequels and they were very pro sequel.
That's true.
So I don't think it did well financially or critically.
No, I just didn't think it was. I didn't think it was that great. So yeah, this was the first. It was the first werewolf movie I've watched so far that I've been a little disappointed in. I've kind of liked all the other ones.
But that didn't taint your view of Hammer, right?
No. I've seen a few Hammer films and I like them.
I know it's kind of cool now to be not into Hammer because they're.
Is it?
Yeah, they're like the Beatles of whatever, mid 20th century horror. So like it's the hip stance to be like Hammer films are boring, bro.
Yeah.
Hammer's overrated. So people did the same thing around that time with the Universal stuff. It's just cyclical.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
People are stupid.
People are really stupid.
No, I generally love me some Hammer. The production values are great. The actresses are always beautiful. Great leads. Usually some good makeup. But yeah, Curse the Werewolf is a rare miss for me.
Yeah, agreed. So have you been reading any good comics? I always like to ask you what you've been reading this week.
Jacob, I've read a couple things that we haven't talked about much. Somewhere in mid-quarantine, I decided, fuck it, I'm going to read Invincible from 1 to 100, whatever, 20-something.
Jesus.
So I had started it and read the first 3 trades, and there's a major, I don't know if you've ever read any of it, but there's a major event, a big twist that happens around the 3rd trade that changes everything. And that was really cool. And then I think I read 1 trade beyond that back in the day and just kind of lost interest. I didn't dislike it. I just kind of fell off. So this seemed like a good time with having Hoopla, this digital library, and all these digital comics, and I knew they were on there. So I said, to hell with it, I'll just plow through it. I'm halfway through right now, and I'm definitely plowing through it, and I like it. When he does sci-fi stuff, it's cool. Like he'll do there's this recurring villain from Mars that are called the Sequids, that are these slug octopi type of things that have a hive mind, and if they attach themselves to one organism, they all collectively can operate. Otherwise, they're kind of helpless and easily enslaved, as the Martians had enslaved them for centuries before. But once they attach themselves to an Earthling astronaut, they take over the planet handily. And whenever there's a storyline with them, it's always really entertaining, like high 50s pulp, cool, high concept, adventurous stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like remember last week when we were talking to Brad and he was saying something like, well, it's a 70s comic, so there's way too much talking in it. And I was like, man, I got to send you a screenshot of some of this Kirkman stuff, my friend, because between Walking Dead and Invincible, which is the stuff that I've read most of his of,
it's
there'll be pages where it's like 4 panels of people sometimes it's just what do they call that when it's just repeating literally the same just photostat, I think is a term for it, like where it's just recycling the image and it's just word balloons just cluttering up the whole page. And it's like, I know you have a lot of stuff to do, but I'd rather just you throw in 1 page at the beginning of text, like Alan Moore would do, than that. Like, so it's ups and downs for me. What about you? I got some other stuff, but I want you to talk about something.
Yeah, it's funny, I've never cracked Invincible. I need to eventually check out some of it because, I like Kirkman. So, no,
but I'm really into that new series though.
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I've been reading Tom King's Strange Adventures series that he's doing with Mitch Gerrits and Doc Shaner illustrating. And
Doc
it's
Shaner
really cool.
From the Venture Brothers? No, that's not his
No,
name.
I know.
What am I thinking of? Doc
Hammer.
Doc Hammer.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, I know.
I just realized just now that I've been switching those two people when I see them on Twitter until just this moment.
Oof. That's embarrassing.
Good thing I haven't talked to any of them.
Yeah. So I don't know if you checked out the new Strange Adventures. It's I really love the old Adam Strange, like, your Murphy Anderson, Gardner Fox, like just I love that shit. And so this is a very Tom King take on Adam Strange. It's kind of like what if Adam Strange is a war criminal? Because every book Tom King does has to do with the consequences of war. That's just kind of his deal.
Well, right, what you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's maybe not like as grand of a story as like his Mr. Miracle or The Vision was, which both I think are some of the best books to have come out in the last 20 years. Really,
Totally.
but both of those I think are masterpieces.
I agree.
And this one, I like it better than the event he did before Heroes in Crisis. I don't know if you checked that out.
I did read that.
Yeah, which I thought it was okay. What did you think of that?
I felt like, a lot of times my issue with DC is that their long history has been, I know they tried to fix it several times, all the continuity and all the whatever multiverse stuff. But I feel like a lot of times when I jump into a DC thing like that, like Infinite Crisis is a good example. I know that's Grant Morrison, so it's not fair to dredge that up. Yeah. But like, I feel like everyone's getting stuff that I'm not getting. And I felt like Heroes in Crisis was a lot like that, where it's like, I feel like there's either one-shots or tie-ins that I'm supposed to be reading here for this central title to make sense, because as its own piece of work, I thought it was utter shit. I hated it. I could not tell what the fuck was going on.
It wasn't great. I'm gonna agree with you. I didn't. I did not like it. So Strange Adventures is much better than Heroes in Crisis, in my opinion.
Oh, good.
I actually, Strange Adventures is pretty cool. I really like it.
Okay.
So it's up to issue 6, I think, comes out this week, and so I haven't picked that up yet. So I've been going into the comic shop like once a month. I was that guy that loved to go in every week because I don't know. I guess I'm just that guy. But I've been going in once a month, so it's I'll have like multiple issues to read, at least of that. And but yeah, I highly recommend it. I think you would really like it.
Okay, so since I read through the library, I can expect to read that in 2 years.
Yeah, maybe
probably.
3. Yeah.
No, I'd like to check that out. King is an odd dude for me because I am either hot or cold on his stuff for some reason. I love it, or I'm just really like his Batman stuff. I just cannot get into, and I feel like it'd be such a good fit.
I know he totally should be killing it on Batman, but I hate his Batman stuff.
Yeah, so do I. And I don't know why.
Can't. No, it's like, and I keep trying to give it a try, like especially when I had like the DC Online thing for a while, and I'm like, oh, I need to start reading this, and I would start reading it, and I'm just like, I can't. I would get like 2 or 3 pages in and stop. Like I couldn't even get through a whole issue. I don't really know what my deal was, but I just instantly did not like it.
I've tried to talk about it with my friend Matt Mayer Lowry, who's a huge Tom King fan, and we couldn't put our finger on either, like what doesn't work on it. But I think I read up through or around the wedding of Catwoman and Batman.
Oh wow, you really read a lot then.
I did. I really wanted it to work, and it just did not click. That's where I jumped off.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people jumped off. But yeah, Tom King, real hot and cold. I'm hot and cold with his stuff too. I think next week he's doing a Rorschach miniseries, or maxi series as they are called now, the 12 issue.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be its own thing, but also to kind of take place after the Watchmen HBO show, which I thought was interesting. So he's like, this is its own thing, but it's basically in the world where that stuff happened.
Okay.
So I was like, so it's not its own thing.
So Yeah, A, and B, the title character is still decades dead.
Decades dead. So yeah, obviously, yeah, it's not. Yeah, so it's a new guy taking on the Rorschach mantle. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get it.
If I hear good things, I would jump on that.
Yeah, I'll probably trade weight for that one. I don't need to get the monthlies on that.
So I haven't read any of the more Watchmen stuff, like the Before Watchmen or whatever it was called.
I thought Before Watchmen was a train wreck nightmare. I thought what I read of it, I really, really hated. The Doomsday Clock stuff I kind of liked, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but I got both volumes of it, and I kind of liked it.
Oh, so was that its own title? So I read something. I was reading Josh Williamson's Flash run recently, and that was part of it. And I jumped off and did some other. It's like Batman Flash Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, that was the prelude. It was called The Button, right?
Yeah, The Button. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Tom King wrote that, but
yeah, I think he did.
But yeah, this is Jeff Johns, I think, wrote Doomsday Clock, if I'm correct, and I really liked it. Yeah, I mean, it was like it wasn't like a tie-in with a million different titles event, but it was like a 12-issue series, which everyone's just calling a maxi series, and I kind of like that, but it kind of annoys me too.
Well, that was around back in the day.
I know.
Like, I remember,
it's a term that I've always kind of liked, but I don't know.
A Squadron Supreme, maxi series. I always liked it for some reason. So is that what? I don't want to spoil anything. It's like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So what is this, bringing Dr. Manhattan into the DCU, or what is the premise here? Or is tell me the premise ruining the? I'll probably read it. So
a little bit, yeah. I don't want to. Okay. I honestly don't want to spoil it for you because I think it's pretty good. We can do a switch. You give me your Blue Beetle bound, okay, and I'll give you Doomsday Clock.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, I think that's a fair switch.
Cool. Well, I'll be outside your house and I'll flash a flashlight 3 times when I'm ready to do the handoff.
What a world we live in.
Yeah. I was going to talk about something else, but I already forgot the name of it. And I don't have great things to say about it. And I know people really like it, so I should probably just skip it.
Yeah, don't alienate all of our fans, Matt.
Hey,
Maybe they come here for your truth telling.
Sorry, it's an Image book called Ice Cream Man. And I tried the first trade, and I'm not digging it. And I see why people like it.
Yeah, people really like that book.
If it were 1995 Vertigo and I read that, I probably would have had my mind split open and been totally blown away. But it ain't 25 years ago, and this kind of that type of edgy, self-contained, one-and-done little storytelling with this device of this supernatural kind of narrator, a Sandman or something. It just doesn't work for me, and I know people love it, and I wish I did. There's a bunch of little quirks in there that drive me nuts, like there's a cop that's a recurring character, but she has a very long name, and her name has all 5 vowels in it, so people call her 5V. Like, I hate cutesy shit like that in books. That is poison to me. So anytime there's some cutesy thing where it's like, oh, you thought that was super clever, huh? I hate it immediately and get turned off. And that was a reaction I had.
But that also sounds like a nickname that like no actual human being would ever do.
Yes. In addition to being cutesy and obviously precious to the writer, it's completely unrealistic. So those two things together are oil and water to me. So yeah, I could see why people dig it. Just wasn't for me. So shine on, you crazy diamonds.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, in keeping with the Halloween spirit, I've been going through and watching all of the Treehouse of Horror episodes chronologically.
Nice.
I thought it would be fair to mention, the one werewolf storyline, which is in Treehouse of Horror 10. So that's season 11. It's the one that's kind of based on I Know What You Did Last Summer, where Homer hits Ned with the car. And then, he keeps coming back. And then at the very end, we find out that Ned was bitten by a werewolf, and now he's a werewolf. So,
right.
Yeah. So I thought that was I was trying to think if there are any other werewolf appearances in The Simpsons, since we seem to make a lot of Simpson references and a lot of Mr. Show references. I'm seeing patterns.
Yeah. I'm a pretty simple man.
Yeah. That's why I love you. But yeah, if you can think, or if anyone else can think of any other werewolf appearances in The Simpsons, I'd like to hear them.
Yeah, me too. I gave up on The Simpsons around 2002, I think, and I used to hang in for Treehouse of Horror when that became the premiere. I feel like in later seasons that was the premiere episodes, and those just got unwatchable to me too. So I just bailed. I always wait to hear about. It's like SNL. Like somebody will tell me something's worth watching, and I feel like that doesn't even happen anymore. So.
Yeah, the Treehouse of Horror. I mean, I've never stopped watching The Simpsons. I've just been all in the whole time. And I'm not saying it's all great. Most of it is, at least the last 10 years especially have been really spotty. But I was talking with a friend today, and Treehouse of Horror are pretty consistently terrible.
It's a bummer because those used to be my favorites.
Oh, they used to be the great. We were talking about my favorite one of all time, The Shining.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been cool. Like with Disney Plus, my wife hates The Simpsons passionately, and I will always make the case of the first 10 years were the good years, and she'll say none of them were good years. They were all terrible, and I hate them, and it's not funny. And Athena got into The Simpsons, and we started watching them together, and then slowly kind of like saying like, hey, can we, we're having a casual dinner. Can we just put a Simpsons on? And then she laughs. She thinks it's funny. She was just being a jerk. So, but turning my kid on to The Simpsons has been the best part of Disney Plus next to The Mandalorian.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad Athena likes it. Yeah, your wife is pretty great, but that's offensive.
Yeah, she doesn't like the Kinks. She doesn't like The Simpsons. She doesn't let me watch Laurel and Hardy. There's some things, man. There's some things. She doesn't like the Marx Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all coming into focus now, right?
No, I remember we've all had the Marx Brothers conversation before. But no, she's too nice. I still like her.
Well, yeah. Our differences are only skin deep, but our sames run down to the bone or whatever.
That's so romantic.
Whatever it was from that episode of The Simpsons when Homer questioned whether or not he was Marge's soulmate, and Johnny Cash showed up as a coyote.
Yeah. Oh, spirit coyote.
Yep. Okay, are we ready for the big sign off?
Oh boy. Yeah, let's throw in another Mr. Show reference and do the sign off.
Okay. Here is the one that we're going to be ending the show with from here on out. Till again we meet neath the full moon, furry ones. Here's howling at ya.
I love it. It's awesome. Yeah. There's a lot of applause going on right now, so I would definitely applaud.
People are crashing while they're fist pumping and